Hey fisherman, Aqua Duelist here, and I managed to get my hands on the new Relinquished support that came out of King's Court. I actually forgot to order the new card, and luckily, a friend of mine hooked me up, so that's pretty freaking awesome. I'm doing for this particular variant, I am just doing Relinquished Kaijus, not doing the Relinquished Invoke thing now. So yeah, a quick little announcement I need to make. Next week, there's only going to be one video. Um, I need to take a couple days off, and my work schedule is changing, which also I need to announce real quick. If the new schedule stays, there's not going to be Tuesday videos anymore. It's probably going to be moved to Monday. So it'd be like a Monday, Friday, or Monday, Saturday kind of thing. I'm thinking. I don't know. Got to work it out a little bit still, but yeah, I just wanted to announce that a little bit of a schedule change on the videos, and only gonna be one video next week, and it's going to be probably like Saturday. So yeah, just got some insane stuff going on, and I need like a day or two just to, I guess you could say, refresh myself. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead, jump into this, guys. Don't forget to harpoon that subscribe button. Really helps the channel out. Most of my subscribers most of my views actually aren't from subscribers, so yeah, don't forget to harpoon that subscribe button, guys. Now, starting off, since this is a Relinquished deck, you gotta play 3 copies of Relinquished. It's just kind of like one of the 2 boss monsters of the deck. Basically, with him, suck up an opponent's monster, and then he gains the attack and defense. He can only have 1 monster equipped to him. And if he'd be destroyed, the equipped monster gets destroyed instead. So yeah. Alright, so next 3 copies of Millennium Eye Illusionist. So this is basically like a hand trap. You can discard it and then equip a opponent's monster to either a Relinquished or Eyes Restrict fusion monster. And then if you summon one, either Relinquished or a Eyes Restrict monster while it's in the grave, you add it to your hand. It's not optional in that effect, so you have to do it. Both once per turns. So yeah. Alright, so 3 copies of the new card, which is Golden Eyes Idol. So once per turn, there's a quick effect on it where you actually get to look at your opponent's hand, and its name becomes a Thousand Eye Idol at the end of the turn. So it's got that neat like Pegasus-like effect there. It does have to be on the field for it to go off. It would be cool if you could just like discard it to be able to do that, and then technically its other effect would go off. So its other effect, when it basically goes to the grave or is banished, you ascend by card effect. You get to actually equip a opponent's monster to a Relinquished or Eyes Restrict fusion monster you control. So that's pretty cool. And then makes like OTKing a bit easier. So that's nice. Next up, 3 copies of Manju. Since this is a ritual deck, you have to play 3 Manjus. That's staple. Next up, for our other normal summon, 3 copies of Paraplant or Scorpio, where it's old, but you basically discard a card, bring this guy out, and then you get to add a fusion spell from your deck to hand. So that's pretty nice. Now for the other monsters, play 3 copies of Psy-Frame Gamma, because Gamma is really good, and then with that, you have to obviously play the 1 Psy-Frame driver. I think Gamma is a bit better in this than other decks, because if your opponent decides to ash you, you essentially have fodder for like 2 relinquished to make 2 relinquished monsters. You can use a Link Spider on this and go into Paraplan Verte Anaconda. There's just different things you can do with Psy-Frame in this deck, and I actually really like it. So next up for the Kaijus, I play 1 copy Jizukiru, 1 copy Dogran, and then 1 copy of Gardala. I'm actually not playing the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber in this. I just, like, if I was, I would take out the Psyframe Gamma with the driver and play, like, a second, Gardala with 3 Slumber, but I just don't think, you don't really want to Slumber, or Kaiju Slumber your opponent, honestly, like, because if you do that, then essentially you can't OTK, so that kind of sucks. And I just feel like the Gamma and the driver is just too good to cuts. And if you don't want to play these, I would actually recommend, like, either Mystic Mine, because that just shuts your opponent off, your opponent's field effects off, and you can just, essentially take apart their board and, just suck it all up. Or what's the Pod Extravagance. I'd say Pod Extravagance over Pod Prosperity, just because, like, the draw 2 is just better than searching for the 1. So that's my thoughts. That's it for the monsters. I think there's just some decks where Extravagance is better than Prosperity, and this is one of them. So, I mean, I think for ritual decks, Extravagance is always going to be better than Prosperity. So, for the spells, obviously I have to play 3 copies of Black Illusion Ritual. It's the ritual spell for Relinquished. And then 3 copies of Relinquished Fusion. So with this, you essentially get to banish materials, for your Millennium Eyes Restrict monsters, or, Eyes Restrict monsters. We do play one of the Thousand Eye Restrict in here. So with this, you essentially can banish the materials from your hand or field, or sorry, not field, hand, field, graveyard, whatever. And then once turn, you can banish this and basically equip an opponent's monster to a Relinquished, or I think it's Relinquished or Eyes Restrict monster you control. Yeah. So either, so that's pretty freaking nice. Couldn't remember on that. So yeah. Next up, 3 Super Poly. This deck is absolutely too good to not play Super Poly at 3. You can literally Super Poly your opponent on their turn, and, fuse Relinquish with any effect monster to make Millennium Eyes Restrict. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, that your boss monster is technically a Super Poly target, or one of your 2 boss monsters is. And, we do play a decent amount of Super Poly targets as well on top of that to deal with specific things, so yeah. It's just stupidly good not to play. I feel like you have to play this if you're playing a Relinquished deck. Next for not draw power, but consistency, guess what we want. Pre-preparation rights, 3 of those, gets us Relinquished with the, spell for it. 3 copies of Preparation Rights, gets us Relinquished, and the ritual spell if that's in the graveyard. And lastly, for our 2 1-ofs, Monster Reborn, we can bring back a Relinquished after, we fuse it off. And 1 copy Instant Fusion, just because we can get into our boss monsters with it. It's just too good not to play. Even though it's at 1, sadly. I wish it was back at 3. Oh, that'd be so busted if it was back at 3. Like, this deck would definitely get a huge buff from it. So for the extra deck, 1 copy of Relinquished Anima. I mean, it's, if a monster is in a zone that points to, you suck it up. You can literally kaiju an opponent's monster, put in the zone that this points to, suck that up. So that's kind of cool. 1 copy Alamirage. If you normal summon the Manju, you can go into this. 1 copy of Link Karibo, because why not? I mean, you can make it. And then 1 copy of Predator Planet Verte Anaconda. Like, It's really freaking good. One copy of Nightmare Phoenix to deal with back row. One copy of Nightmare Unicorn. Ironically, you're going to be using this for back row mostly because this deck is just too good at just sucking up your opponent's board. Like, that's what this deck does. It sucks. It just wants to absolutely suck some dick, basically. It's what it wants to do. Suck up your opponent's board, be a dick. So yeah. Now for the fusions, 3 copies of Millennium Eyes Restrict, and oh my gosh, does this guy love sucking. So quick effect, if your opponent's monster activates an effect, you suck it up. You just suck up their monster, and then they can't activate, which it can be either from field or grave, and your opponent can't use monster effects with monsters equipped to it. So like you can grab like an ash from your opponent's graveyard, and they can't ash you. Basically, just says no to hand traps. Your big suck monster here, absolutely awesome. One copy of Thousand Eyes Restrict. I mean, it's okay. It's just like not as good because you can only have one monster equipped to this in Relinquished, so that kind of sucks. And then this, like, other monsters can't attack, which is kind of stupid. But I mean, it's like you can basically like instant fusion into this and then go Relinquished Anima. Remove 2 monsters with 1 card. Essentially, that's the concept behind it. Starting Venom, Dragon here. I mean, you can basically just, Super Poly Dragoon and your opponent's Vertanaconda into this. Predaplan Draco Stelia, another, thing you can do if your opponent basically just goes Vertanaconda into Dragoon. That's just another out. One copy of Predaplant, Chimera Flacia. So this, you can basically Super Poly your Predaplant Vertanaconda with, because Vertanaconda has an effect where you can basically turn one monster opponent controls into a dark monster. So it's kind of like a Super Poly target for that. Lastly, 2 Mud Dragons. Mud Dragon's really good. It's just like, I still think Mud Dragon's one of the best cards in the game, hands down. Like, it's just so stupidly generic. Even though Instant Fusion's at 1, still stupidly good. So, it's like an Instant Fusion target, Super Poly target. You manage to have one in the grave, bring it back with, Monster Born if you Instant Fusion into it. Give your stuff protection. It's just good. I still love this card. Absolutely awesome. Like, still my favorite card in the game to this day. So guys, that is it. This is basically Suck Turbo 2021 July 2021 format. So guys, hope y'all enjoyed this deck profile. Have any comments, go ahead and comment them down in the comments. Don't forget to harpoon that subscribe button and harpoon that like button, guys. It really helps out the channel. And I will see y'all next week, Saturday, and we should be doing a update to the XYZ Dragon Cannon. It's been so long since I've done an update to that, and as my most viewed just deck profile, so I'm really, really excited to do it. And see you guys Saturday.